Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valoreso Capital, and today we're going to do the market update video. We're going to go through the major indexes, and we're also going to take a look at a very important chart right now in the market, which is the TNX. We're also going to talk about TLT, and then I want to show you, then I want to go through some of the major ETFs such as SMH, XLF, XLV. That way we can have a better understanding of what is going under the major indexes, so we can take a look at those sectors as well. Remember that this video is for informational purposes only, and that everything is based on my personal analysis and is not financial advice. So now that we have that out of the way, let's start with the charts here in my screen. I want to start with one of the most important charts right now in the market, which is TNX, which is as we know, is basically the chart for interest rates for the 10-year. And what we're seeing right now in the market is a pretty strong breakout, right? You can see that TNX is having a breakout basically above this level of 3.5, give it or take. And now we can see that in the last week we had a pretty strong move to the upside. You can see that we stopped right there at the second standard deviation measure from the open of the week, and that is what this line right here represents. Let me just take this out of the way. That way we can take a look at the charts a little bit more clearly. Let's just show this right here. That way we can just hide the quant pivots and we can continue with the video. Okay, as you can see, also for anyone of you guys that have been following the channel in a regular basis, you can see that I changed the color of the chart. This is kind of a fresh look for the analysis that I do. The analysis is the exact same analysis, but I like to change a little bit the colors. That way you can have a fresh look at the markets. I think it just is a fun way to do it. So right now I have my screen is black, as you can see right here. And then I have a little bit more brighter colors for my candles, which they used to be black, now they're white. So I basically just changed that. So now back to the charts. For anyone who's new to the channel, I have two main indicators. This indicator right here is the trend oscillator, which basically helps me identify what is the current trend that we have in the market. And then the one that I have below it is the TTM squeeze, which is an indicator that also helps me find what is the trend, momentum, and most importantly, those moments in time when we have a compression in which price is trading inside those Bollinger Bands. And then usually what happens is that we see a very strong expansion, either to the upside or to the downside. So it's a good way to look at the charts that way. And then I do have another indicator in the bottom, but this is it's just a more easy visual way for me to understand what is the relationship between the 8 exponential, the 13 exponential, and the 21 exponential. If I have green dots, that means that the 8 exponential is above the 13 exponential, and the 13 exponential is above the 21 exponential. And this indicator was developed by Ray G. Horner, which is an amazing trader. And she basically developed it so that she basically developed the indicator so you can have a better visual representation of what the moving averages are doing. So I just have that in there, but definitely you don't need it. If you can see that you have the 8 above the 21, I don't have the 13 in my screen, but if you have the 13 and those EMAs are stacked together, then you will get the signal that we have a bullish trend. Now back to TNX here. Basically I have an active sell signal. My active sell signal triggered on August 3rd of 2022. And I don't have any sell signals as for now. Now, of course, we're seeing a breakout. And when we have a breakout, we have to respect that basically whoever is winning is the one that is in favor of that breakout. And we can see that the bulls of the TNX are winning this battle, as we can see in price, and we have a breakout that is going higher. Now, how long is this breakout going to go? No one, of course, knows. No one has any idea of what is going to happen next in the market, but I do have some things that I want to show you guys. Now, this does not mean that we have a sell signal in the TNX, but as you can see right here in my trend oscillator, Usually when we get to the 70 and above level, that means that we have a very, very extended market in terms of momentum. When we have a very extended market in terms of momentum, we usually see a pullback of some sort. That doesn't mean that the trend is over and we have a sell signal in the TNX, and now this thing is basically making a double top, which is not as for now. However, I do see that we are, once again, you can see that the last time that we tested 70, we have a pretty strong move to the downside in the TNX. That means that TLT, which is the bonds, rallied pretty hard. Now, I'm having the same level of reach in the market again as we're reaching new highs. Does that mean that the TNX is just going to continue to trend to the downside? It doesn't mean that, but however, it does mean that we might see some sort of consolidation here above the breakout level, and then perhaps we see some continuation. Of course, if we happen to consolidate a little bit and then break below the breakout level, and we start to see these trend oscillators start to break below that EMA, which is the green line, and that green line turns red, then perhaps we can consider that this might be a trap for the bulls of the TNX, right? This might be a trap, but we need more confirmation, right? So I think that you keep a very important level on this chart, and I always like to give you levels, guys. So the level that I'm gonna give you for this chart is gonna be 3.5. If we happen to continue to close above 3.5 on a daily basis, then we must assume that the trend is gonna continue. If we happen to close below 3.5, then we might have some idea that the TNX might want to reverse. Of course, using some trend indicators as the trend oscillator is very helpful for us to identify that. But as for now, the best thing that I can tell you is that this is breaking higher, and we should expect some continuation, some pause, and then perhaps some continuation. Now, let's take a look at TLT. TLT is showing something interesting here, right? You can see that this basically TLT is going down as TNX is going up. But what is interesting in TLT, and I want to show you right here, is this section right here of the trend oscillator. Of course, you can see that the trend that we have based on the relationship of the exponential moving averages, we have a bearish trend, and that's pretty obvious. We can see that price is going lower in a declining 8 exponential and a declining 21 exponential. However, what I'm seeing in momentum, you can see that as price continue to go lower from this point to the downside from 110.86, you can see that price continue to go lower. However, as price continue to go lower, you can see that the indicator, which is the trend oscillator, which is a momentum indicator, hasn't made new lows and is actually trying to reverse here. If we happen to reverse in this chart, I think that we can see a pretty substantial short squeeze in bonds. Why do I think that we can see a pretty substantial short squeeze in bonds? Is because bonds have been pretty heavily shorted. However, the momentum is starting to turn. So what would be my confirmation to take into consideration that we might see that short squeeze? We will need a close above this level right here, which is somewhere around 108.03. If we happen to have a close above 18.03, I think that we can see a pretty substantial short squeeze in bonds that will take us somewhere around that 50 daily moving average. That's right now is somewhere around, I think somewhere around 112. Of course, you can see that the moving average is going to move and is basically a moving target. So if we happen to see a short squeeze, keep this level in mind, which is 110.86. And if we want to continue higher, keep these levels in mind, which is 114 and 113.99. So that's kind of this chart kind of suggests that we might see some kind of reversal in TNX, especially after that pretty strong move to the upside. So keep this chart in mind as well. I think that we might see some pause to the selling. That doesn't mean that we're gonna have a turn in the market, but we might see some kind of pause, especially given that we have pretty strong bearish sentiment, and we're gonna talk about that as well. Now I want to go through somewhere around 4 more charts. We're gonna go through the UVXY, the Nasdaq Composite, and then the two. We're gonna go through the SMH as I mentioned in in the beginning of the chart, XLF and XLV. So there's going to be like 5 charts in this analysis. So here, right here in the chart, I have UVXY. You can see that UVXY is breaking to the upside, right? You can see that we closed at 11.83, which is actually a pretty bullish close for the UVXY. And I have an active buy signal since Friday. So of course, you can see that we have a squeeze. You can see that momentum is breaking to the upside, meaning that we are above that 51 level. And in terms of price, you can see that price is above 1092. And of course, we are also above this low right here, which is somewhere around 11.36. And we are also above that 21 exponential, that 8 exponential, and that 50 daily moving average. So I don't think you fight this, right? If the VIX happens to come back below this level and even below 1096, then this might be a bull trap for the UVXY, not the VIX, the UVXY. If we continue to trade above 1092, I think we should the expectation will be for us to at least test the 200 daily moving average in the UVXY, right? Because everything about this chart is bullish. We are above that 50 daily. We have a squeeze, and also momentum is breaking up above 51. So I don't think that this is the time to be buying the market. I think that you just let UVXY do its thing. If you want to get long UVXY, I think you can probably set your stop below this candle right here. That way you can give yourself a little bit of room. And any close below 1092, I think that we have to take it a little bit with caution. However, that will probably be an indication that the market want to turn. So keep this chart also in mind. And the level that I'm going to give you is 1092. And that's the target for this. If this continues higher, is going to be the 200 daily moving average to the upside. Now let's take a look at the Nasdaq Composite. And right, we basically gave the entire move that we had. Right, we had a pretty bullish move earlier in the year. So from June to August, we basically gave everything back in this month of September and in the last day of August. And there's nothing bullish about this chart, to be honest. There's nothing bullish. I have an active sell signal from August 23rd. And since that active sell signal, I don't have any buy signals. You can see that even when we had this pretty strong rally, we came right into resistance in terms of momentum. And after that resistance in terms of momentum, we just came straight back down. You can see that we're basically trending below a declining 8 exponential moving average. So there's nothing bullish about this chart, to be honest. We have a momentum that is stacked negatively based on the relationship of the moving averages. We have bearish momentum in the squeeze, and I also have momentum that is breaking below 37.61. So we're breaking below momentum of broken below the support of momentum. So there's nothing that says that we should stop here. I think we can continue to go lower in the market, and also based on the UVXY, we might continue to see more selling in the market. Now, in terms of bonds that we take a look at, I think that that market usually turns way before the market turns. So also keep that in consideration. I think that we can see lower lows in the market, but the levels that I'm going to give you is going to be this level right here, which is 11,471.50 for the Nasdaq Composite. And if you happen to have the trend oscillator, which I think is a fantastic tool, I use the 30 minute chart for the trend oscillator. And if you happen to have this indicator, the level that I'm going to give you is going to be 37.61. If we happen to move above that level, then we might get a little bit of a rally back into resistance in the Nasdaq Composite. So keep those levels in mind as well. And then let's just take a look at the indexes that I want to show you. That way we can basically confirm that this move to the downside is supported by almost all the sectors, or at least what I consider to be one of the most important sectors in the market, which is the semiconductors. And you can see that I do have an active sell signal from August 23rd as well. I have the active sell signal right here. You can see that price was holding support, which was 26.73. However, momentum already broke below 50 0.48. And something that I always say here in this channel is that momentum changes the structure way before price. And that's exactly what we saw in the SMH, which is the semiconductors. And I don't have any buy signals yet, right? You can see that we're breaking below this level, which is 204.16 in price, and we're also breaking lower in momentum right below this 37.60. And I don't have any buy signals as of now of SMH. So if we continue to the downside, I don't think that will be a surprise. Of course, we are testing the bottom. Is this a double bottom? I don't have anything that will confirm that, right? At least not for now. If we happen to break above this 37.60 in terms of momentum, then we might see a rally all the way back to the level that I'm going to give you, which is 204.16 in the SMH. Now, finally, let's go to XLF and XLV. Let's take a look at XLF, which I also think that is a very important sector in the market. And right, I have an active sell signal. I do have an active sell signal from September 19. I did have some also another. I did have some other sell signals that were active, but they were canceled. And this is the most recent sell signal that I had in XLF. And everything is bearish about this chart, right? You can see that we have a squeeze that is starting to trigger to the downside. We have a negative momentum in terms of stack EMAs. You can see that we're trending below an 8. Of course, we are a little bit oversold, meaning that we have a gap between the 8 exponential and price. But there's nothing bullish about this market, right? We broke below 32.34, which was the level that we broke out at the beginning of the rally. And you can see that we also broke down below the momentum support, which was 40.61. So the level that I'm going to give you here is going to be the one of momentum, which is 40.61. And in terms of price, if we continue to be below 32.34, the path of least resistance continues to be to the downside in XLF as well. And I think this is a very important chart, given that it is a very heavily weighted ETF in the SPY. And then finally, let's take a look at XLV, which seemed to be one of the sectors that was holding better. And of course, you can see that we haven't tested the lows. However, same as the other ones, I have an active sell signal from September 14. However, you can see that we haven't broken the structure in momentum. We continue to be above 37.30, so that's kind of a little bit of something that is telling me that we might see a snapback rally. Is that snapback rally gonna be received with resistance? That's gonna be something that we have to be on the lookout. So the level that I'm gonna give you here is 124.39, which happens to be this swing low right here. If we continue to be below 124.39, I think that the expectation is that we will continue to see lower the indicators to continue to trend to the downside, because we have a squeeze that is trying to fire short. Momentum is trending to the downside. And then, of course, in terms of the stack EMAs, those stack EMAs are stacked in a bearish way as well. So kind of a summary of what I'm seeing in the market. We have pretty strong signals that the market might continue to the downside, and we don't have any reversal signals as of now. The most bullish signal that I see in the market is that TNX is at some very, very overbought levels in terms of momentum, which tends to be a very, very strong signal that we might see a reversal, or at least some type of pause in the move to the upside. Then, of course, I'm going to be watching TLT to see if we have any signs of reversals. But remember that TLT usually moves way before the market, and the market might continue to the downside even if TLT start to move to the upside as well. So kind of the summary is that we are in a bearish environment, and any rallies are going to be rallies that are coming into resistance, and we're going to need a little bit more information to consider any bullish idea. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you had a really amazing weekend, and I'm sure that this analysis is going to be helpful for you. So remember to leave comments below, and also like the video so more people can benefit from the analysis of this video, and that way they can find the channel, and they can also find my Twitter account. So remember to follow me as well on my Twitter account, which is @Valareso Capital. where I post a lot of videos on a daily basis about the charts and things about the market. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Have a good one. Have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Peace.